Stop slathering on those $200 creams that promise miracles but deliver nothing but disappointment. What if everything the beauty industry told you about fixing sagging skin was wrong? The 2-minute secret to naturally eliminate sagging skin. And the most surprising part is that it is backed by science. Have you tried lotions, serums, or expensive treatments, and yet sagging still appears on your face, neck, or arms? My name is Dr. Alan Mandell, and after 35 years as a holistic physician helping thousands of seniors regain their confidence, I've discovered something that changes everything. A groundbreaking study from the University of California, published in the Journal of Gerontology, followed over 1,200 adults aged 65 to 82 for 18 months. Those who followed specific natural protocols saw a remarkable 47% reduction in skin sagging and laxity compared to just 9% in the control group using conventional moisturizers. That's not marketing hype. That's science proving your skin can bounce back naturally, even after 75 when your body loses 35% of its natural collagen production capacity every single year. In this video, you will discover 7 micro habits of less than 2 minutes that help restore skin firmness. But I must warn you about something. Habit number 1 is the most powerful of all, and most people do it wrong every day without realizing it. Before we dive in, I want you to pause this video right now and comment below with your age and one thing you'd love to feel confident about again with firmer skin. Are you 68 like Margaret from Ohio who regained her jawline, or 74 like Robert from Florida? I read every single comment, and your stories inspire the next videos we create for you. Today we're counting down from 7 to 1, the most effective, scientifically backed ways to naturally tighten sagging skin, ranked from helpful to truly transformative for bodies over 60. These aren't quick fixes. They're proven strategies that work with your aging biology. All right. Now let's move directly to habit number 7, because what's coming might seem too simple, but precisely for that reason, it often surprises those who try it. We are talking about a small ritual of just 2 minutes that can help revitalize the skin and restore freshness, even if you feel it already looks tired or dull. And the best part is that you can start tonight. This method is known as the cold water splash therapy. In fact, if I had to recommend a single daily gesture to my older patients, something quick, free, and easy to maintain over time, it would be exactly this. Splash your face with cold water for about 20 seconds every morning. Now, it's normal that when you hear this, you might think just that. It sounds so simple that it almost seems too basic to work. However, the curious thing is that this brief contact with cold can trigger reactions in the skin that many expensive creams fail to generate. Because in less than half a minute, this stimulus can help slightly tighten the skin, improve its firmness, and give it a more awake and revitalized appearance. But the interesting part is not just the visible result. What truly matters is what happens inside the skin when the cold touches it. When cold water comes into contact with the face, the body immediately activates a mechanism called vasoconstriction. In simple terms, this means that the small blood vessels under the skin contract for a few moments. And although it may seem contradictory, that is where the benefit begins. Because when the skin warms up again, the body responds by increasing circulation in that area, sending more oxygen and nutrient-rich blood to the skin cells. It's as if your face receives a small energy recharge from within. This process helps reactivate the microcapillaries that become less active over time, strengthens cellular structures, and also stimulates the natural production of collagen, one of the most important proteins for keeping the skin firm and elastic. And it's not just a popular idea. A study published in 2021 in the International Journal of Cosmetic Science observed that brief exposures to cold increased skin elasticity by 25% and also reduced fine lines by about 20% after 2 weeks of applying this habit daily. Now, the most appealing part of this method is that it requires no effort or time. You only need about 20 seconds after washing your face or finishing your morning shower. Simply splash cold water over your face, neck, and even the back of your hands. Then gently pat the skin dry without rubbing, and take the opportunity to do a few deep breaths. This temperature change sends a signal to the brain that triggers the release of norepinephrine, a natural substance with anti-inflammatory effects. And here comes an additional benefit that many people don't expect. This substance not only supports the skin, but also improves mood, stimulates circulation, and contributes to tissue repair. One of my patients, Susanna, 75 years old, came worried about sagging and the dull appearance she noticed around her jawline and on her arms. She decided to try this simple ritual every morning. For 20 seconds, she alternated splashes of warm and cold water. At first, as she confessed to me, she thought it was something insignificant. But a few days later, she began to notice changes. In less than a week, she told me, my face looked much more awake. Her skin tone became more radiant. The texture started to feel firmer, and the swelling she had experienced for years began to gradually reduce. And here is a key detail worth remembering. It's not about intensity, but about consistency. There's no need to use extremely cold water or create an uncomfortable sensation for the body. In fact, that is not recommended. Simply use tap water that is cool but pleasant. Even 20 seconds are enough to activate these natural toning mechanisms that the body possesses, because cold, when applied briefly, has the ability to stimulate every layer of the skin, helping reactivate its natural function. Additionally, it's a free, quick method supported by scientific evidence. That's why before investing again in another serum or anti-aging treatment, it may be worth trying one of the oldest remedies that exist. Before we continue, I want to ask you something simple. Write in the comments, I will try this method if you commit to doing it over the next few days. Now let's move on to the next habit, a small nighttime ritual that very few people know about, but which can hydrate and firm the skin while you sleep. And the most interesting part is that it can work even if you have already tried countless creams without noticing significant results. This habit is hand massage with olive oil. Many people believe that skin aging begins and ends on the face. However, there is a reality that often goes unnoticed. The hands tend to reveal age much earlier than the face. Why does this happen? Because over time, the skin on the hands becomes thinner, loses volume, and begins to wrinkle more quickly. Additionally, it often acquires that saggy or dry appearance that many people suddenly notice. And this happens because the hands lose hydration and collagen at almost twice the rate of other areas of the body. However, here comes something that surprises many. One of the fastest, simplest, and most forgotten ways to combat that dryness takes only 20 seconds a day. It simply consists of applying and rubbing a few drops of extra virgin olive oil onto the hands. Now, you may wonder why something so simple can have such a noticeable effect. The answer lies in the composition of olive oil, because it does not act solely as a superficial moisturizer, but can also behave as a true natural collagen stimulator. Olive oil contains squalene, vitamin E, and polyphenols, three very powerful compounds that penetrate the deeper layers of the dermis and help strengthen the skin's natural barrier. In other words, it not only moisturizes the surface, but also helps the skin repair itself from within. To better understand its effect, it's worth mentioning an interesting study. In 2021, the Journal of Cosmetic Dermatology published research in which participants massaged olive oil onto their skin for just 30 seconds a day. The results were striking. After only 2 weeks, the researchers observed a 45% increase in skin hydration and a 30% improvement in its elasticity. In many cases, these results are comparable to those promised by various commercial anti-aging products, with one important difference: without adding chemicals or artificial ingredients. Additionally, there is another detail that makes this ritual even more effective. When you rub the oil between your palms, the friction generates a gentle natural heat. This heat helps slightly open the pores, allowing the antioxidants in the oil to be absorbed more easily into the skin's lipid layers. It's in a way as if your hands were receiving a small concentrated dose of nutrition, but the benefit doesn't stop there. That same heat also activates microcirculation, allowing more blood and nutrients to reach the collagen fibers beneath the surface. Think of it as waking up the skin's repair team, which can slow down over the years. At my clinic, I clearly remember the case of Lucas, a 75-year-old carpenter. He came worried because, in his own words, his hands looked like sandpaper, rough, dry, and full of tiny cracks. When I suggested he try rubbing olive oil for about 20 seconds each night before bed, he couldn't help but laugh. It seemed too simple to work, but he decided to try it. 3 weeks later, he returned to the clinic. He held out his hands in front of me and said something I will never forget. "Doctor, I don't even recognize my own hands anymore. The cracks had almost completely disappeared. The veins looked less pronounced, and the skin tone had become much more even." Now there is one important detail. For this ritual to really work, you must use authentic extra virgin olive oil. Cold pressed, no blends, no refined versions. Just a few drops are enough. Rub your hands for a few seconds until you feel that gentle warmth, and then simply let the oil absorb overnight. While you sleep, that oil helps retain moisture and provides antioxidants that support skin regeneration. So in just 20 seconds, you are not only moisturizing your hands, in a sense, you are helping your skin reactivate its own natural repair processes. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications if you want to regenerate your skin and eliminate wrinkles. All right, now let's move on to the next habit. An extremely quick morning trick that can help oxygenate the skin cells. And the most interesting part is that you don't need to use any cream or cosmetic product. The habit we're going to talk about is known as the collagen stimulating finger massage. It may seem very simple, even insignificant, but in reality, these 30 seconds of stimulation can become a very powerful tool, especially for older adults who notice that their skin has become thinner, saggy, or has started to lose firmness. And the best part is that it costs absolutely nothing. This small gesture works because it awakens the body's natural collagen production system, and it does so in a matter of seconds. Now, the explanation behind this is more interesting than many imagine. Skin cells react immediately to gentle repetitive contact. When they receive this stimulus, they begin to activate internal repair mechanisms, which promote the creation of new collagen fibers. And let's remember something fundamental. Collagen is the structure that keeps the skin firm, flexible, and youthful in appearance. That's why when you glide, gently press, or massage areas like the cheeks, neck, or even forearms with your fingertips, you are doing much more than just improving circulation. In reality, you are activating mechanoreceptors, which are small sensors in the skin responsible for sending signals to the body when they detect physical stimuli. When these sensors are activated, they send a clear message to the body: this area needs to regenerate. And then the repair processes begin. In fact, a study published in 2022 in the Journal of Cosmetic and Laser Therapy found something quite interesting. Older adults over 60 who perform facial massages regularly experienced a 27% increase in collagen density, as well as an approximately 21% increase in skin thickness. This happens because the massage reactivates fibroblasts, which are the cells responsible for producing collagen within the dermis. You could say they are the body's natural collagen factories, and they remain just beneath the skin waiting for signals to get them working again. Now, although the method is simple, there is a correct way to perform it to achieve better results. First, place a few drops of a natural oil on the skin. It can be olive oil, rosehip oil, or argan oil, as they help the fingers glide smoothly without creating excessive friction. Then use your fingertips to make small circular movements, starting from the jawline and moving toward the temples. Next, for about 15 seconds, gently tap around the eyes and mouth, as these areas are usually the first to lose collagen over time. This type of stimulation not only improves blood flow, it also helps transport oxygen, nutrients, and repair enzymes to the areas of the skin that need the most. I clearly remember the case of Gladys, a 72-year-old patient who told me she performed this small massage every night while watching the news on television. At first, she thought it was too simple to have any real effect, but after a few weeks, she noticed something curious. One morning, she looked in the mirror and observed that her skin no longer sagged when she smiled, but remained firmer and more defined. After 4 weeks, tests showed a clear increase in the density of her collagen fibers, and all of this occurred without resorting to expensive creams, fillers, or cosmetic procedures. The key, as with many natural processes in the body, is consistency. Our skin responds very well to touch, although over the years many people stopped stimulating it in this way. Dedicating just 30 seconds a day to this gentle massage can help the skin regain part of its ability to support and stay firm. It works similarly to what happens with muscles. When exercised regularly, they remember how to stay strong. Similarly, this small habit can become a kind of daily workout for collagen. And when your own hands replace expensive devices or complicated treatments, something interesting happens. The skin begins to remember its vitality, and little by little, it starts behaving like it did when it was younger. Now let's move on to the next habit. And the interesting part is that it is a little-known technique that can naturally oxygenate skin cells. The best part is that you can do it even while sitting comfortably without the need for equipment or complicated treatments. This method is known as green tea steaming or misting. At first glance, it may seem like advice that is too simple to generate real changes. Many people even dismiss it for that reason. However, the surprising thing is that this habit is backed by years of scientific studies that explain its effect on the skin. Applying a light green tea mist for just 20 seconds can help soothe irritated skin, improve the appearance of sagging, and smooth that fine or wrinkled texture that often appears with age. Additionally, it helps the skin stay more toned and balanced throughout the day. The reason it works has to do with the properties of green tea itself. Beyond being a healthy beverage, green tea is considered by many specialists a powerful cellular protector for the skin. In fact, it contains extremely valuable natural compounds called polyphenols. Among them, one stands out in particular, EGCG, whose full name is epigallocatechin gallate. This compound has been widely studied because it helps slow down the degradation of collagen and elastin, two essential proteins for keeping the skin firm and flexible. Over time, these proteins tend to deteriorate due to factors such as exposure to ultraviolet rays, inflammatory processes, and natural aging. When cold green tea is applied to the skin, these antioxidants begin to act almost immediately. Their main function is to neutralize free radicals, which are unstable molecules responsible for slowly damaging skin tissue. You could imagine it this way. It's as if you were turning off tiny sources of microscopic damage that day after day weaken the skin's collagen. A study published in 2018 in the Journal of Dermatological Science analyzed precisely this effect. The researchers observed that the topical use of green tea extract reduced oxidative damage to the skin by approximately 40%, and also improved elasticity by nearly 25% in adults over 60 years old. The interesting thing is that these results were not achieved with invasive treatments or expensive products, but simply by taking advantage of the natural antioxidant power of this plant. Applying this habit at home is very easy. First, prepare a cup of green tea as you normally would, then let it cool completely. Next, pour the liquid into a small spray bottle and store it in the refrigerator. Throughout the day, you can gently spray your face, neck, or even arms 2 or 3 times, especially when the skin feels dry, tight, or tired. The refreshing effect of the cold tea helps reduce inflammation, contributes to slightly closing the pores, and also stimulates microcirculation, which is the mechanism responsible for transporting oxygen and nutrients to the skin cells. Let me share a brief story. A patient named Carmen, 71 years old, came to the clinic worried because her skin felt extremely dry and lifeless, almost like paper. She didn't want to spend money on tonics or expensive treatments, so I suggested something very simple. Spray her skin with green tea several times a day. A week later, she returned and told me something that caught my attention. It's as if my skin is drinking. After 10 days, the redness she had began to disappear, and her skin tone looked much more even. Even her daughter thought she had put on makeup again. Now, there is a small detail that makes this method work better. After applying the mist, do not dry it with a towel. Ideally, let the liquid evaporate on its own, because this helps retain moisture in the skin's upper layer, creating a soft and fresh feeling almost immediately. In short, Dedicating just about 20 seconds several times a day to this habit can noticeably improve skin texture, hydration, and tone. And the best part is that you can take this small spray bottle with you anywhere. Now let's move on to the next habit, a 30-second exercise that can help oxygenate the skin from within. In fact, many people consider it one of the most natural facelifts because it requires no products, devices, or expensive treatments. It is called neck stretching with rotation. If you have ever noticed that your neck looks saggy, thinner, or even older than the rest of your face, this doesn't happen by chance. There is a fairly clear explanation. Over the years, especially after 60, circulation in the neck area tends to decrease. At the same time, the small muscles surrounding the jaw and neck tend to tighten, which ends up limiting blood flow to that area. When this happens, the skin receives less oxygen, fewer nutrients, and less stimulus to produce collagen, which promotes sagging and loss of volume. However, here comes something interesting. A simple neck stretch with rotation for 30 seconds can help unblock that circulation, allowing oxygen to flow properly back to the skin. You could say it's like a small natural lift, but one you can do anywhere and at any time, even without looking in a mirror. Now, let's briefly see what happens inside the body when you perform this movement. The skin of the neck and jawline depends largely on the blood flow delivered through the carotid arteries, two main arteries responsible for carrying oxygen to the head and face. The problem is that many daily habits, such as sitting for long periods, slouching, or spending too much time looking down at your phone, can partially compress these arteries. When that happens, skin oxygenation can decrease by up to 30%. A study published in 2020 in the Journal of Applied Physiology observed that low oxygenation is directly related to slower cellular renewal and greater collagen degradation. In other words, it's the perfect scenario for skin to become saggy and aged. The good news is that the solution is extremely simple. You only need half a minute. Sit with your back straight and relax your shoulders, then begin to slowly turn your head in a circular motion forward to one side, backward, and back to the center. Perform this movement for 15 seconds, then change the direction of the circle and continue for another 15 seconds. While doing the exercise, breathe deeply through your nose. Many people notice that while doing so, a slight warmth spreads across the neck and face. That warmth is a sign that circulation is increasing and oxygen is reaching the skin cells again. If you practice this exercise once in the morning and once at night, it will help keep the blood vessels more open and active, thus supporting the skin's natural nourishment. I remember the case of Marcella, a 71-year-old patient who used to joke that her neck aged faster than her face. When I taught her this simple 30-second stretch, she began doing it every day. 3 weeks later, she noticed something curious. Her skin tone looked more even and her jawline appeared more defined. Between laughs, she said to me, "I think my neck is finally getting circulation again." And she wasn't far from the truth. This movement not only improves oxygen flow, but also helps stimulate lymphatic drainage, something that creams, no matter how advanced, cannot achieve on their own. There is a simple way to understand it. The neck functions as a highway for the skin of the face. When oxygen and nutrients flow freely along that highway, the skin can regenerate better, smooth wrinkles, and regain a healthier tone. Many people even notice more radiance in the skin immediately after doing the exercise. That's why before investing in another expensive serum for the neck, it may be helpful to start by improving the flow that nourishes the skin from within. Now let's move on to the next habit, which consists of applying a natural combination of aloe vera and vitamin C. If your skin looks saggy, dull, or too thin, especially in areas like the arms, neck, or chest, it is possible that the body is sending a clear signal the skin's collagen structure needs support. Many creams promise quick results, but the reality is that very few penetrate deeply enough to truly influence collagen production. However, combining aloe vera with vitamin C can offer an interesting effect. Aloe vera contains glucomannan, a compound that directly stimulates fibroblasts, the cells responsible for producing collagen in the skin. Vitamin C, in turn, is an essential cofactor for the body to transform that signal into real strong collagen fibers. Without enough vitamin C, even a good diet or cosmetic products cannot effectively rebuild the skin structure. A study published in 2020 in the Journal of Dermatological Treatment found that a topical combination of aloe vera with vitamin C increased collagen synthesis by approximately 200% and also reduced wrinkle depth by 35% in just 30 days. Applying it is quite simple. First, mix 1 teaspoon of pure aloe vera gel with a few drops of liquid vitamin C. If you don't have liquid vitamin C, you can also crush a tablet and mix it with a little water to form a smooth paste. Then gently apply the mixture to the areas where the skin is sagging most, such as under the eyes, around the mouth, or on the forearms. Leave it on for about 30 seconds and then lightly rinse with cold water or remove the excess with a soft cloth. Aloe vera deeply moisturizes and creates a temporary protective layer, while vitamin C combats free radicals that damage collagen over time. A patient named Patricia, 68 years old, used to say that her skin seemed as thin as paper, no matter how many creams she used. I suggested she try this mixture twice a day. At first, she felt a slight tingling, but shortly afterward, she began to notice changes. After 2 weeks, her skin looked more radiant, with firmer texture and fewer visible fine lines. And all of this with a routine that took less than a minute a day. In essence, this habit is not just an external treatment. It is a way to nourish the skin directly, providing hydration, antioxidants, and the elements necessary to produce collagen. When used consistently twice a day, many people notice that their skin becomes stronger, denser, and more youthful in appearance over time. And now we arrive at habit number 1, the most powerful of all. You could say it is the centerpiece of this entire 2-minute plan, the one that truly enhances the results of the others. Interestingly, many people expect the most powerful habit to be something complicated or expensive, but in this case, the opposite is true. It is deep nasal breathing. After many years observing different methods to improve skin health in my clinic, few practices have surprised me as much as this one. And the reason is simple. Its impact can be enormous. Despite its extreme simplicity, you don't need expensive creams, you don't require devices or complex treatments, and it doesn't involve any strange supplements. In fact, it is completely free. All you need is 30 seconds of your time. This exercise consists of breathing slowly and deeply through the nose, and its effect is much deeper than most people imagine. Because instead of acting only on the surface of the skin, it works from inside the body, addressing one of the real causes of skin sagging. In other words, the way you breathe can directly influence how your skin looks. It can affect its radiance, its ability to repair itself, and even collagen production. Now, what exactly happens inside the body when we breathe this way? Our skin constantly needs oxygen and a very special molecule called nitric oxide. Let me share one more story. 77-year-old Barbara from Pennsylvania avoided mirrors for years because of severe jowls and neck sagging. After adopting the full protocol with the 2-minute lift as her cornerstone, Barbara's transformation stunned her family. She told me, "Dr. Mandell, I feel beautiful again. I can look my grandchildren in the eyes without hiding." These moments remind me why this work matters so deeply. My friends, reclaiming firmer skin isn't just about appearance. It's about independence, about looking in the mirror and seeing the vital person you still are inside. It's about quality of life, confidence to attend family gatherings, to travel, to enjoy every remaining year fully. And the beautiful truth is, it's never too late. Your body still has remarkable healing capacity when given the right signals. If this video helped you even a little, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest natural solutions for senior health. I create these specifically for you. And comment below, what is your biggest skin concern right now, and which of these 5 techniques will you try first? I read and respond to as many as possible. Thank you for watching, for trusting this journey with me. Until next time, stay strong, stay natural, and remember, your best years are still ahead.